Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, let me stop. So we're still on movies, but we want to take you to the dark side of the moon. It's not from like Powerpuff Girls or something.
Pink Floyd. Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, Sailor Moon, I think. It's from one of those things. But we're gonna talk about, certain people's guilty pleasure. It happens to be my guilty pleasure, which is like vampire movies. And we're gonna do verses on this. Thank you, the squad, for the idea. I totally stole it, and I appreciate you. I think it's fun, and I want to try it out. So let's do the verses on vampire movies. One of my favorites of all time is Blade because I love me some Wesley Snipes. So it's Blade versus Underworld.
I'm a big Kate Beckinsale fan as well. The Underworld, she's pretty awesome.
Yes.
Love them both. They're both vampires killing, well, lichens first in her case, but then also vampires for him. He's half vampire, so he's a half vampire killing vampires. Killing bad vampires. It's only the bad vampires that we don't know around. One of my favorite vampire movies is Blade Trinity. I really love.
That's the last one, right? With Justin Timberlake's wife in it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, yeah, because Jessica Biel, because you earned your right to be called your name, Jessica Biel.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Reynolds,
and Parker Posey is the leader of the bad vampires.
I can't even remember who. I thought it was a guy. Is that his name?
Oh no, Damien, I think his name is, the Australian guy that is the vampire that's resurrected.
Oh, okay.
But Parker Posey is the leader of the group that resurrects him.
Oh, okay. I think my favorite speech from that movie was when he was like, this whole time they've been looking for a new vampire to lead the clan, like an evolutionary vampire, and they've had one all alone. You Blade. It was like my favorite scene because they did all this like resurrecting and waking me, and like here they have this like
had him the whole time.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
He was pretty sexy too.
Yeah, he was sexy.
Prison Break. He played the older brother.
Oh, that's Break. Right. Ooh, speaking of Prison Break, Wentworth Miller.
Oh, spent many a time staring at him.
Where you at, Wentworth? Where are you at? Because I miss you.
He's on another superhero show.
I think
a TV show. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, The Boys? Is that one? No. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna find you Wentworth. Okay. But I did like the last one. It's funny when you look back at the older Blades and you see how bad the graphics and everything was because that they just haven't now everything's far superior. But it's so funny to see like in one of the first ones the guy like bubbles up and then explodes and it just looks so fake and you're like, I remember I used to get so excited, like, oh my gosh, this is cool.
Yeah, me too. And I love the old guy in it. Wasn't he like in the Highlander movies or something like that? The guy who plays his like surrogate dad person.
Oh yes. Oh, excuse me. Yes, he went. I like him. Yeah. He was a good character.
Cool, whiskey and cigarettes kind of
voice
type dude. Yeah.
I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
I even enjoyed the little quirky bad guy in the first one. That was a good one. And I love the one Sanaa Lathan was in too. That when she played Blade's mother, which is weird because I'm pretty sure she's younger than him. But I guess it's like she didn't age. Yeah. So but I kind of like that one too.
I do love Underworld as well.
Yeah.
And the last one in the Underworld trilogy had Theo James in it.
And I love you, Theo.
Yeah. Divergent. He's in there.
Yes. I would. Who was that man?
Lorraine,
You
Jill,
know,
Carla, 4.
yeah. As much as I love you, Wesley, and you know how down I am for the diversity in Underwood, then I'd have a baby, except for like I think when they started bringing other clans and stuff like that,
Well,
then you start to see more of
the Lycans, the
werewolves
tended to be the people of color in
yeah.
the movie. Yeah,
And
it's very British.
oh, okay,
British.
that's why
Yeah.
you know. So I didn't appreciate that fact, but I mean Theo alone, I'm I'm gonna have to go with Underwood.
Yeah.
No, forget it, Blade. I'm sorry, Blade. It has to be Blade, but I love you, Theo. But I'm Blade.
I'm going with Blade Trinity because again, it's the vampire DVD that I own, so I think they're obviously my favorites when I own them.
Yeah, and I like the fact that I can still watch each. Like I did like a Blade marathon one time, and I still was just like still into it. Like I was still entertained, and even though the graphics weren't as good, it was still I still enjoyed watching it. Even though I feel the same way about Underworld.
Yeah, Underworld's held up well as well.
Yeah.
They're both pretty good.
But Blade it is.
Yeah, I'm Blade Trinity.
Yeah,
I'm specific. I like those specific movies.
Well, yeah, because I mean the other one. I mean, you know, it was the times. It was the times.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. What do we got next?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah.
Is that the one we're putting against? We're putting it against Queen of the Damned.
Are we? No. Oh wait. I don't even know what we're putting it. Maybe
I think we're putting it. Oh, Twilight.
Oh no. American versus New Zealand. So it was a New Zealand movie first.
Oh, that's the one.
And yeah, made by Jerome and Taika in New Zealand, in Wellington, in my hometown. And then it was made into an American TV show. So it's on Hulu now.
Okay.
The movie is hilarious. If you have not seen the movie, it is just hilarious. Bunch of vampires that live in an apartment in the middle of Wellington, which is the capital city in New Zealand. Who have a film crew following them around like a reality TV show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so they followed all the same format for the American TV show. And I was a bit nervous because I was like, taking something very Kiwi humor and making it American, it might get a little bit slapstick because the humor can be a little bit more on the nose.
Yeah.
It is so good. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
They added another vampire. They added a emotional vampire. So somebody who feeds on your. We all know one of those.
This is that personal.
There's someone in everyone's life.
Ooh.
And if you don't know who it is,
I think it's me then, because I'm like, I try to think.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of blood drinking vampires and an emotional vampire living in a big old apartment in, I think they're in, where are they? They're in, it's somewhere in New York, like, is it Staten Island or somewhere weird in the New York area. I'm not good at that stuff.
Okay, so British or American?
New Zealand.
Oh. That's so how much I know.
I'm going to go with New Zealand because it's the original and the actors are amazing and funny and I love that movie to pieces.
And that's where I'm from.
But the American show, it's level. It's really good. It's really, really good.
Okay.
But I have to favor the Kiwi maiden
because that's where she's from.
There has to be favoritism.
Okay, Twilight. Look, she doesn't like Twilight. I already know she's not
No,
thinking Twilight.
Twilight was great in its time. I went to all the releases in its time.
Twilight and Queen of the Dam.
Both are very campy when you look back on them.
But I come for my girl Leah.
She's the best thing in that movie. She's
Yes,
amazing.
so sexy.
But they when you go back, I just watched Queen of the Dam again, like maybe not even a month ago, and it's campy, you know. Aaliyah, amazing. The way she moves, the way she talks, the way she does everything.
So I want to go Monkey Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Aaliyah in Queen of the Dam, or what's the one person who's in Dusk Till Dawn, and who does the Selma Hayek? Yeah.
Oh, Selma Hayek. Yes. Yeah.
Versus.
Let me see. I watched Queen of the Dam just recently. I haven't seen Dust Till Dawn for a while.
Yeah, it has been a while for me too.
And Dust Till Dawn,
sexy.
She's so sexy.
Yeah.
Also, Dust Till Dawn is like two different movies.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm just talking about just them as like sexy women in their own, you know.
I think this is where like you know, being a grown up now comes into it, where, you know, Selma, you can kind of still look up to her and she's sexy, whereas Aaliyah's always going to be that young woman. Yeah. You know, and beautiful and stunning and sexy, but she was young. And so I think like just that part of you that looks at a woman, you're like, well, Selma's
you can see the dominance.
Yeah.
It's a certain like confidence and like, and she was she had more acting experience than Aaliyah when they did those movies, because that's what Selma does.
Yeah.
But I will always love me some Aaliyah.
Just the way she moved.
Yeah.
It was like really cool.
But I think Selma had a lot of women feeling really lesbian.
And still does.
Yeah.
Even when she plays Donatella.
Yeah. Because I remember a friend of mine who was a female was like, we have to watch this. I just love the way Selma moves. And I'm like, what was the movie about, girl? Like,
yeah. Right.
Like, all you remember is Selma?
Yeah, all you remember is when she gets up on that table.
Yeah. She's like, she was like doing the dance, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Also, she was surrounded by strong actors in that movie too. Aaliyah had
that new guy. Yeah.
And I can't even remember who else.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
So you going with Selma?
I'm going with Selma.
I think I'm gonna. I love Aaliyah. I love Aaliyah, but because that was like her first, so this is nothing against my girl Aaliyah. It was her first, and it's hard to go against somebody who's been doing it for a while. So I'm gonna have to go with Selma as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to the Queen of the Dam versus Twilight.
Queen of the Damned, definitely. Definitely. I mean, Twilight had its place. Like, it definitely. Like, I went to all those movies. That hype was great. When you rewatch it and you watch their sparkly skin.
Yeah. It was some flaws. But I'm not gonna lie, because that was my age bracket. That was like our Twilight was our like our little hunks, our guys that we could be crazy about, and we could feel how passionate Kristen was for him in the movie. Like you could really. I don't remember his real name, Robert.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, but what was his character name?
Edward. You were either Team Edward or Team Jacob.
Yeah, and I was definitely Team Edward.
Oh, I was Team Jacob. The Wolves of Waco.
Damn. they were cool, but not Jacob to me. But also, I think I probably am. I'm probably tainted because I've seen him in like that Valentine's Day movie, and then that a movie he played in where he was doing parkour and stuff.
Oh yes, yeah.
So I think that kind of tainted me a little bit. And like here we have Robert who like sings and he does all this other stuff that I'm like, and he's kind of got the sexiness, even though he looks a little dirty at times. But but I think I was definitely a team Edward. And if I gotta do Queen of the Dam versus Twilight. I'm gonna give it to Twilight.
No way! All of them, or the one in particular?
I have to do the franchise because if I start breaking it down, then like Queen of the Dam will destroy it. But like the franchise itself was so strong, and I have to admit, I was one of those women who like I went full off scale when it came to Robert Pattinson. Like became fan. Like I'm like, oh, I want to see all the things he do in real life. Like I was like so into him after that, and I don't remember having the same feeling for the guy that played in Queen of the Damned. I think like I was just like, oh, this is a sexy
that was a
story
franchise too, though. Remember Interview with the Vampire with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise was the first movie of that franchise.
I didn't know that.
Anne Rice books.
You're teaching me something new. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that was a franchise.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna stick with my answer for this video, but I'm gonna put my real answer after I rewatch it. I'm gonna give you my final answer in the comments or in the section description.
Interview with a Vampire and Vampire Lestat.
Vampire Lestat.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one, the Vampire Lestat.
I'm gonna watch them all because then I definitely, if it has Brad Pitt and stuff, they like.
Oh yeah, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, and a very young Kirsten Dunst.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't even have to watch it, and I know that franchise will stomp on Twilight. Like those are like legacy names. Like these are people who have names who people know. You know, it reach out. You know, and most of them don't even have a career anymore. So that's hard. Okay, so what was our next one? Van Helsing and Fright Night. Or are we doing Van Helsing and Lost Boys?
Oh, I thought we were doing those two against each other. I don't know.
No, we did the British, the New Zealand.
Oh, that one. Those two.
Oh, Queen of the Dam?
Yeah.
No, well,
so I guess it's Van Helsing and Lost Boys.
Yes. And I've seen neither, so go ahead.
Well, I'm a big Van Helsing fan too. I know it's very campy. But when that music starts, like, and you know something's going to happen and people are traveling somewhere and something crazy is going on, I love that. I love that opening sequence where he has this massive fight down with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and like this giant man. I don't know. I do love that movie. Again, it's Kate Beckinsale. She's in there with Hugh Jackman, and yeah. But Lost Boys it's a classic. It's got all of those 80s actors. Who was in that one? Kiefer Sutherland. It had a very young Patrick somebody. And then the two boys that had the same name in the 80s. Corey. One of the Coreys, or maybe it had both of the Coreys. I don't know. Oh no, it had both of the Coreys in it. The two Coreys, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. And Alex Winter, who's coming out in the new Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure with Keanu Reeves. They're all classic 80s names. And so I have to say The Lost Boys. It's a classic.
Okay.
It's a beautiful 80s classic.
What Jackie has decided. So don't come for me.
I get the
Van
only say
Helsing.
when I'm the only one who's seen them. So.
And that's not
Yeah, we've got our last one. Let the Right One in.
Let the Right. No, we still have Fright Night. So I would do, even though they're like two separate things. Fright Night versus
Fright Night with Lost Boys.
Yeah, I said that. And then you went with the Van Helsing.
I didn't hear.
Fright Night versus Let the Right One In. Well, I've seen those two.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, that would be better anyway.
Okay, just to clarify, she's talking about the remake of Fright Night.
And the remake of Let the Right One In.
And the remake of The Right One In. Yeah, so not the original of
I haven't seen the original of either. But I've seen, and that Fright Night had, what's his name? He's Colin Farrell. I had a thing for him for a little bit.
Phone booth, an entire movie just watching his face.
He did it for me in Phone Booth. He did it for me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he did it for me. What else? He was in something else. I was like, he's giving me sexy vibes. He was in like a franchise. But what is the name of it? I'm gonna start looking these things up.
Yeah.
Okay.
They would take all the fun out of it though if we already knew what we were talking about. That would be amazing.
But I remember
disclaimer: we've done no research. We're just talking snack.
Yeah.
Don't blame us.
Oh, and my glasses totally got that green, looking like I'm an alien. Okay, now I take my glasses.
It's getting dark in here.
The lights are going down. Let the Right One In. I love that movie. And Fright Night, it's hard to compare the two, but since they were the last two on the list, that's why I had to, and they're the only other two that I watched. Because Fright Night is a different type of movie. Fright Night is more of a, how would you describe it? Not cheesy, but like,
I want to use the word campy again. It
seems
to be the descriptive word of like the 80s.
I would agree. I would agree. It definitely had that vibe to it. I enjoyed it because it had Colin Farrell. And that is the only reason why I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Yep. Whereas Let the Right In has it's like the Joker version. Like, you can get mad at me all you want to because I know it's not about mental health, but it reminds me of like the Joker version of vampire movies, like where someone took something that's like vampire-y and then added so many layers and made it so much more. Yes. And where like you're just captivated by all the different, things that they have going on, the complexity of it. Like, I'm like, oh man, like, here's this guy who like looks after her and kills people so that she can be fed, and then she meets this boy, and there's that like dynamic between them two, and like it blew my mind because I didn't want to watch that first, and then I finally was like, okay, let me check it out. And it's with a younger cast, like that the dad or whoever he played, the father figure, was the only older character. And here I am, I'm a grown woman, and I'm fascinated by two kids, having these roles and portraying these characters. And to me, that speaks volumes to how good the writing, the actors, all of that was like for me.
Yeah. I can't really remember Fright Night. Like, I think it was one of those kind of fodder movies that I watched that like I watched it but didn't really absorb anything about it except that Colin Farrell was on screen.
Yeah.
As well. But I did watch the original, the Right One In, the Swedish version, before I watched the American version. And again, like What We Do in the Shadows, I was a bit nervous. I'm like, is it going to hold up? Because it was such an amazing, magical, and never seen anything like it kind of story movie. but the American version really held up. Like it was beautiful, and it made it that little bit easier because I didn't have to read subtitles, And but the original was like it blew my mind. So I would have to say choosing between the original and the American rather than Fright Night and the American for me. I would have to say the original because that was like the mind blowing part. So yeah, I'm just gonna say the original.
I want to check out the original. I almost did, and then I don't know what made me. Sometimes you got to be in the mood for something that's like foreign.
Yeah.
And I think I was just like.
Sometimes you've just got to gauge it by the size of your TV.
Yeah.
Because if you're watching on a small TV and it's subtitles, it just makes it really hard work.
Yeah.
So sometimes you choose the easier one to watch by the size of your TV.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have two versions of that movie to compare. I just only have the one versus Fright Night. So Colin, you're not gonna be able to be a whole amazing movie just by your appearance being in the other. So I'm gonna have to go with Let the Right One In, and that's all it is.
What's your all-time favorite vampire movie?
That is tough. Do you know yours offhand?
Not offhand. That's why I got in and asked you.
Because you knew that was the next question coming. It's so crazy to look at this and know some of the choices I've made. Even now, I'm still fighting with it in my mind. Like, but that's actually really my favorite. But then you just chose that one over that one. So that doesn't make sense. Yeah. So because of that, and I don't want to be flip-floppy, I'm going to have to go with my favorite from this list of all-time vampire movies will have to be Let the Right One In. And that's only because it's hard to say that I think I chose Blade. It's hard to say that Blade beats Let the Right One In. Like, it's hard. Because it was just so complex. Like,
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I think for me, from this list, my all-time favorite is going to be Lost Boys. Just because I always like the classics, the whatever came first. And like I want to go back to that, and it holds up. I've watched it a couple times in the last year, and very, very 80s outfits, and the music's like crazy, but it really feels like a vampire movie.
Yeah,
old school. If you're not actually going to go in for Dracula or Bram Stoker's or the actual really gory vampire.
Speaking of, real quick, have you seen that new Netflix show? I think it's called Dracula. Yeah, it's called Dracula. The new one that they came out with.
And it's got the female Van Helsing?
No.
Oh.
Wait, yeah. No, it has that nun. It's like a nun.
Yes, yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Is she the female Van Helsing?
I'm not sure. I binge watched it a little bit, so I think I'd have to go back. If I binge watch, I don't absorb anything.
You know what I was thinking about? Like, what's replaying in my head is like Amanda redoing the accent of the lady. And she was like, I had to just turn it off. Because, like, I got tired of listening to her. You know what, tequila? You are nothing to me, tequila. Like, she it was hilarious.
You had to be there for that one.
Yes. You have to watch it. And then when you hear this lady's accent, you'll be like, okay, I think I'm going to have to.
Yeah. I remember being intrigued and like, what is going on here? But then I feel like they might have maybe because I was binge watching, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I felt like maybe they dropped the ball on like a really good idea.
Yeah, I think they did.
Didn't fully execute it or something.
Sometimes Netflix take on too much, and or they're just trying to like hurry up and get a bunch of content. I don't know what's going on, but sometimes I'm like, you built me up, just let me down, Buttercup. I don't know if that's but that's our time. Thank you for hanging with us, doing the verses, and listening to our favorite vampire movie.
Our opinions.
Yes, and then in the comments is where your opinions can go. And I hope that you check out the next one.